In the deep, dense forests of a forgotten realm, there existed a horrifying legend that struck fear into the hearts of those brave enough to wander its eerie paths. Whispers passed from villager to villager, tales of the Babanshi, a treacherous and bloodthirsty race of fairies. These malevolent beings masqueraded as something innocent, something alluring, something almost too beautiful to resist. Legends spoke of their unmistakable rival, signaled by a raven perched atop a weathered, decaying tree. As it squawked, its pitch-black feathers transformed into a brilliant golden hue, and its form shifted effortlessly from avian to enchanting maiden. Adorned in a flowing gown of emerald green, cascading golden locks framed an otherworldly face, hypnotic and dangerous. These creatures, the Babanshi, concealed their true nature beneath their graceful attire. For beneath those bewitching dresses were not delicate human feet, but hooves belonging to terrified deer, a twisted reflection of their sinister souls. Their dance was one of darkness, a ghastly masquerade designed to lure unsuspecting men into their lairs. Within their enchanted homes, adorned with glistening treasures and the illusion of warmth, the finale of their sinister act unfolded. As the unsuspecting victims succumbed to the Bavanshi's seductive charms, their mouths grazed upon the flesh, piercing veins with razor-sharp teeth. In a sickening scene, they greedily devoured the life force, savoring the crimson liquid that flowed through the veins. The tales varied. Some whispered stories spoke of men found lifeless and drained, their bodies entangled in a deadly embrace with a creature of malevolence. Others told of those who managed to escape, their minds forever haunted by the chilling laughter and pleading cries that echoed through the night. But the story does not end here, for tales of the Bavanshi linger in the shadows, waiting to ensnare the ignorant and recklessly curious. Cautionary whispers passed from generation to generation, warning of the golden-haired temptresses that prowled the forests. Yet, even in the face of impending danger, there will always be those who dare to dance with the devil, ignorant of the fate that awaits them. And so, the ethereal presence of the Bavanshi continues to exist, their haunting beauty intertwined with deceit and violence. One fateful night, as an exhausted servant girl sought solace in the depths of the forest, her weary steps led her to a clearing bathed in moonlight. Seeking respite from her arduous duties, she settled upon a moss-covered rock, her gaze lost amidst the towering trees. Little did she know that before her, stalked by curiosity, the Bavanshi approached. The raven's eerie call pierced the stillness, its feathers shimmering like molten gold as it transformed into a radiant figure. With cautious steps, the Bavanshi emerged, clad in a gown woven with emerald threads that seemed to whisper secrets to the night breeze. Yet this time, their intentions were different. For reasons known only to them, they chose to converse with the servant girl rather than ensnare her in their wicked trap. The fair-haired beauty spoke with a voice as seductive as a siren's song, weaving tales of forbidden lands and forgotten magic. Intrigued, the servant girl listened, her heart yearning for a taste of the enchantment that the Bavanshi spoke of. As the night deepened, a peculiar bond formed between them, born of an unlikely friendship that defied the darkness lurking beneath. Days turned into nights, and nights turned into dawns, and the servant girl and the Bavanshi would meet clandestinely, hidden away from prying eyes. The Bavanshi gifted the girl with knowledge of the ancient forest secrets, revealing forgotten rituals and the arcane language of whispered spells. In return, the girl shared stories of her life, her dreams, and the aspirations she had held captive within her humble heart. Yet, as their friendship grew, A subtle change began to permeate the once ethereal presence of the Bavanshi. Their eyes sparkled not only with a glimmer of mischief, but also with a flicker of empathy and understanding. Through the servant girl's influence, a dormant ember of humanity ignited within their darkened hearts, causing them to question their insatiable thirst for bloodshed. But alas, the darkness that dwelled within the Bavanshi could not be extinguished so easily. The servant girl, oblivious to the true nature of her enchanting companion, believed in their dormant goodness, yearning for their redemption. Unaware of the lurking dangers that surrounded her, she continued to be entangled in their web of intrigue, blissfully unaware of the treacherous path ahead. And so, as the servant girl and the Bavanshi ventured deeper into the heart of their friendship, their lives would soon intertwine in ways neither could imagine. As Guinevere's bond with the Bavanshi deepened, her fascination with their dark enchantment crossed into a dangerous realm. Seduced by their wicked allure, she found herself drawn to the thrill of luring unsuspecting men into their treacherous trap. Little did the kingdom know of the secret alliance that had formed in its midst. Guided by the whispers of the Bavanshi, Guinevere carefully selected her victims from all walks of life, from young suitors lured by her beauty to middle-aged nobles tempted by her charm. She wove a web of seduction that extended far and wide. No one suspected her true intentions, for she carried herself with grace, concealing her sinister nature behind a mask of innocence. Under the moonlit skies, Guinevere would meet her chosen prey, secretly leading them through the dense forest. Her heart raced with exhilaration, knowing the fate that awaited her companions. At the edge of the clearing, where the Bavanshi eagerly awaited their feast, Guinevere's body would tremble with a mixture of anticipation and dread, as the deceived men approached the enchanting fairies, drawn to their ethereal beauty. Guinevere watched from the shadows. The sinister melodies of laughter mingled with whispered promises swirled through the night air. With each passing victim, Guinevere's soul darkened, her role in their destruction unsettlingly intoxicating. The kingdom remained oblivious to the twisted dance taking place beneath the veil of moonlight. The disappearances were brushed off as mere coincidence, an unfortunate consequence of the treacherous woods surrounding their peaceful lands. Guinevere's facade remained intact, her true self concealed under layers of deception and complicity. Yet, within Guinevere, a flicker of doubt began to stir. As the body count rose, glimpses of the victims' faces haunted her dreams, their vacant eyes accusing her with silent screams. The weight of betrayal pressed upon her conscience, threatening to shatter the illusion of happiness she had found amidst the malevolence of the Bavanshi. As the noblewoman named Leah observed Guinevere and her young men slipping away into the night, curiosity prickled at her senses. Something about their clandestine meeting piqued her suspicions, urging her to uncover the truth. In a bold act of determination, she resolved to follow them, her footsteps masked by the shroud of darkness. Navigating the treacherous twists and turns of the forest, Leah pressed forward, fueled by a mix of trepidation and a thirst for knowledge. With every step, her heart pounded within her chest, the weight of the unknown pressing against her resolve. What secrets lay hidden within the realm of shadows she ventured into, and what revelation awaited her at the end of this path? Silent as a specter, Leah trailed behind Guinevere and her young companion, her presence hidden from their view. The moon's pale luminescence cast an eerie glow upon the forest floor, guiding her as she maneuvered through the thick undergrowth. Branches rustled in protest under her touch, but Leah pressed on, driven by an insatiable need to uncover the truth. Finally, The trio arrived at a clearing bathed in the mystical glow of the moon. As Leah's eyes adjusted to the ethereal vista before her, the sight that unfurled sent chills racing down her spine. There, amongst the swirls of mist, she witnessed the bewitching Bavanshi, their haunting allure piercing the velvety darkness. She watched, her breath caught in her throat, as Guinevere approached the fairies, and joining them in a sinister dance of deception. The noblewoman's heart sank as the realization dawned upon her. Guinevere, the trusted maid, had fallen under the spell of these nefarious creatures. Leah's mind swirled with questions of how deep this alliance ran and what dark intentions they held for her kingdom. Resolute, Leah vowed to unravel the dark tapestry woven by Guinevere and the Bavanshi. She retreated silently from the clearing, her thoughts racing with plans to protect her people from the nefarious fate that awaited them. It was imperative that she gather evidence. As the noblewoman's footsteps hastened through the haunted woods, destiny loomed before her like a specter, poised to unravel the threads of deceit and reveal a truth more terrifying than she could ever have imagined. As Leah stood before the king, her voice trembling with conviction, she recounted all she had witnessed in the depths of the forest. She pleaded with the king to heed her warning, to recognize the darkness that had infiltrated the castle walls, endangering all who resided within. King Alaric listened intently, his eyes flickering with a mix of doubt and concern. He summoned Guinevere before him, demanding that she provide an explanation for the unsettling accusations levied against her. The maid stood confidently, her gaze unwavering as she denied any involvement in the sinister machinations described by Leah. With resolute conviction, Guinevere offered a plausible alibi, claiming that she had been tending to her duties within the castle during the night in question. Her status as a trusted servant weighed heavily in the king's decision-making process, for he had never known Guinevere to be deceitful or malicious. Fueled by doubt, King Alaric made a hasty judgment, choosing to believe the maid's word rather than the unsettling truths presented by Leah. He declared Leah a manipulative cheat, branding her a threat to the stability of the kingdom. The guards, acting on the king's orders, escorted Leah to a desolate prison cell, locking her away from the world she desperately sought to protect. In the darkness of the prison, Leah's spirit wavered. Her mind raced, struggling to find a way to reaffirm her claims and expose the evil that threatened the kingdom. She clung to the sliver of hope that someone, somewhere, would realize the true nature of her plight. Little did Leah know, there were those within the kingdom who sensed the stirring of darkness and questioned the king's judgment. Some whispered their doubts in hushed tones, fearing retribution, while others dared to begin their own investigations, determined to uncover the truth. As Leah languished in her desolate prison, her dreams filled with whispers of revenge and redemption, she vowed to gather the proof necessary to unveil the sinister scheme orchestrated by Guinevere and the Bavanshi. The path to her escape, however, would be treacherous, built on alliances both unexpected and fragile. Will Leah find the evidence needed to clear her name and expose the malevolent alliance that threatens the kingdom? Or will she share the fate of forgotten prisoners, forever lost in the dark confines of her cell? The answers lie buried within the depths of her determination, waiting to be unearthed and ignited into a blaze of redemption. As darkness enveloped the castle, an eerie silence settled upon its halls, broken only by the soft whispers of the lurking Bavanshi. Guinevere, the traitorous maid, had succeeded in opening the gate, allowing the malevolent fairies to infiltrate the once peaceful realm. Chaos and lawlessness reigned supreme within the castle walls, as the unsuspecting inhabitants fell under the spellbinding charms of the Bavanchi. One by one, the husbands of the kingdom were replaced, their very essence consumed by the insidious fairies who assumed their forms. The wives, struck with grief and confusion, could only watch helplessly as their loved ones turned against them, charmed by the wicked creatures who celebrated their conquest. Meanwhile, within her prison cell, Leah's heart sank as she witnessed the depth of her kingdom's despair. Through the cracks in her confinement, she silently observed an unfolding horror, regret gnawing at her soul. She longed to intervene, to protect those she had failed to convince. But the weight of her past mistakes held her captive, rendering her immobile against the tides of malevolence. The once proud King Alaric, now stricken with remorse, stood amidst the chaos, his heart heavy with the realization that he had failed his people. His hasty judgment had allowed evil to seep into the very heart of his kingdom, causing irreversible damage. As the truth of Guinevere's betrayal slowly unfolded before him, his regrets mingled with the desperation to save what little remained of the realm he loved. With every passing moment, the Bavanchi tightened their grip, their insidious plan inching closer towards fruition. Guinevere, their puppet, glided through the dimly lit corridors in search of Leah, now viewed as nothing more than an obstacle to be eliminated. Silently, with a countenance of unwavering resolve, Leah awaited her impending doom, accepting her fate with a somber calmness. However, in the darkest hours, hope can emerge from the unlikeliest of places. A silence fell upon the castle, broken only by a faint, determined whisper. A secret resistance, born from the remnants of loyalty and love, had begun to form. Allies rallied, united by a shared desire to restore peace to their ravaged home. In the depths of their solitude, they devised a plan, their resolve ignited by the courage of those who refused to succumb to the darkness. Will Leah find an unexpected ally in her final moments, a chance for redemption amidst the chaos? Or will the kingdom be forever consumed by the malevolence that now roams its halls? The climax of the tale looms on the horizon, its resolution hanging delicately between salvation and utter annihilation.